A good and lovely morning to you, my wonderful FreeMelon family. I'm Eli Martyr. Thanks for joining me here on the FreeMelon Society. And what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to go through some excerpts from a book called Juice Fasting by Dr. Paavo Airola. And it's a great book. I definitely recommend that you pick it up and take a read through. What I wanted to do is I just wanted to go over a couple of elements in this book that I think I'd like to add some commentary on, just for clarification and for context. And I think the reason I'm doing this is because, as with anything that you read and anything that you hear, including everything that you hear from me, from myself, from anybody, right, you always have your discernment about you. Because as you know, in nutrition world, right, sometimes things can be a little confusing out there, right? And I say that a bit hesitantly because, well, if nature were allowed to unfold in her intended design, then things might not be actually too difficult. They would just be harmonious and effortless. But anyway, we're living in the modern world now, and so what can you do? Things are more complicated. Okay, anyway. So I'm going to go through this book, well, elements of this book, and just pick out some things that I think need some commentary. All right, so we are going to pick up here on chapter 7, where the author gives a list. So he's giving a list of the scientific justifications for juice fasting. Now, before I start, I should say that throughout the entirety of this book, the author consistently misuses the term fasting to describe juice cleansing, okay? And it's this failure to use English to distinguish clearly between two different things that it can oftentimes get confusing. So very often throughout the book, he'll say the word fasting, and there are times when he's using the term fasting to refer to actual abstinence from nutrition, and there are times when he uses it to refer to juice cleansing. Actually, there's a section in the book where he addresses this very thing, and, well, I'll just read it. Why don't I just read what he says about it? Okay, so here he goes. Are you fasting or not? The proponents of water fast like to, I think that's a typo there. I think the proponents of water fast like to tell you that the juice fast is not a fast. It is a liquid diet. They misunderstand the therapeutic meaning of fasting. Any condition when your body is encouraged to initiate the process of autolysis or self-digestion is fasting. Now, readers aside, I would absolutely have to agree with the proponents of the water fast when they tell you that juice fast is not a fast, it's a liquid diet. I don't think they've misunderstood the therapeutic meaning of fasting at all. Because as the author says here, any condition when your body is encouraged to initiate the process of autolysis or self-digestion is fasting. Well, that means that if I do a standard American, Canadian, Australian, European diet for a week, okay? Standard garbage eating for a week, and every night I sleep for 7 hours, okay? By the end of the week, I will have logged in 49 hours of fasting, because there's no time when your body is not encouraged to initiate a process of autolysis or self-digestion. It's always doing that. It's just not doing that as much or as deeply when you're eating versus when you are abstaining from food. So with the definition that fasting is any condition when your body is encouraged to initiate the process of autolysis or self-digestion, that just means regular sleeping is quote unquote fasting. And so if I were to go by that definition and tell someone, hey, I did something really cool, I fasted for 49 hours, then I would be a bit misleading, because in reporting that, that's nothing special, that's nothing outstanding in terms of the definition that I'm using. But someone else might hear fasting and then hear 49 hours and think, oh wow, that's really impressive. But it's not, because my definition is faulty. So again, language is important. It helps you convey the proper meaning. The cascade of physiological effects that occur when your body is in the complete abstinence of nutrition is very specific. Is very specific to that state. And so when it's not that state that you're operating in, it's helpful to have just different terminology so that you're not confused. Okay? He continues, during juice fasting, when no solid foods, proteins, or fats are consumed, your body will decompose and burn all the diseased and inferior protein and fat tissues, just as it does during the water fast. Juices are absorbed directly into the bloodstream without the usual process of digestion. The only difference between the juice fast and the water fast is that during the juice fast, your body's eliminative and detoxifying capacity is increased. The healing processes are speeded up. I believe that's a grammar error there, should be sped up. Are speeded up and you feel less debilitated. Okay, readers aside, as for juices getting into your bloodstream faster and requiring less digestive effort, that is for sure true. The healing processes are sped up. I'm not sure about that. Actual fasting is a deeper process because you're saving all the energy of digesting food. And that goes towards healing. So no, the healing processes aren't sped up even more than a water fast, as the author is claiming here. That's not true. But that you feel less debilitated, of course, that is true, because you're eating, right? You're not eating solid food, but you're obtaining nourishment from food. So of course you're going to feel less debilitated. That of course, yeah. Okay, continuing on. But if someone insists upon calling this superior healing, reducing, and rejuvenating method a juice diet instead of a juice fast, let him do it if it makes him happy. It would make people happy because it's more precise. You're talking about the more precise use of language. So it's not just a semantic thing. It's an issue of the laws of logic, okay, where A cannot equal B, right? If logic is to be maintained during language, right? The mechanics, the mathematics of language, right? Anyway, so that's at the end of the chapter. Let's go back to the beginning of the chapter now, and we'll go through the scientific justification of juice fasting. He continues on, okay, the scientific justification of juice fasting is based on the following physiological facts. Raw juices, as well as freshly made vegetable broth, are rich in vitamins, minerals, trace elements, and enzymes. Well, I mean, you could say the exact same thing about regular raw fruits and vegetables. Those are rich in vitamins, minerals, and trace elements and enzymes. So nothing distinguishes juicing from regular eating, I guess. This first point is a non-point, because the reason that fasting is beneficial is because it doesn't contain any of those things, which means your body is getting a complete break. So this first point is a non-point, really, in proving the superiority of juicing over water fasting. You could be just as easily talking about solid food. Okay, next point. These vital elements are very easily assimilated directly into the bloodstream without putting a strain on the digestive system. Thus, they do not disrupt the healing and rejuvenating process of autolysis or self-digestion, as suggested by some water fast proponents. This is not entirely correct. It's a bit misleading. Okay, autolysis is definitely happening during a juice cleanse, but it's just happening at a higher rate during a water fast, and it's doing that because there is you do require some energy to digest juice. Obviously, you need some energy to do it, because if there was zero energy available, then it would just sit there and you would die. Okay, nothing would happen if there's no energy digesting the stuff. On a water fast, that energy is saved because there's a complete shutoff of your digestive machinery. So this energy that would be required to digest juices is conserved. So you'd have just that much more energy available to do any healing work, to do any autolyzing or self-digesting. So it's not that juicing is not giving you a higher rate of autolysis than regular eating. Okay, it is. But if you're water fasting and then you start to juice all of a sudden, yes, of course, you will most definitely reduce the rate of deep inner healing and cleansing, because you're now introducing a vital tax. You're turning on the machinery of the body, and that requires energy. And if it requires energy, then it's energy that is being used to digest material. So okay, so yeah, this point is misleading. Next point. Contrary to the opinion of some writers, fruit and vegetable juices do not stimulate the secretion of hydrochloric acid in the stomach, which can lead to ulcers. Hydrochloric acid is mainly secreted when protein-rich foods are eaten. Yeah, that's more or less correct, I would say. I would also say that it's probably not that no hydrochloric acid is released. I'd say that it's a very minimal amount, for sure, when you're juice cleansing. The nutritive elements from the juices are extremely, this is the next point. The nutritive elements from the juices are extremely beneficial in normalizing all body processes, supplying needed elements for the body's own healing activity and cell regeneration, and thus speeding up recovery. Water fasts, dry fasts, fasting does exactly that. Fasting does exactly that. So this is, again, a non-point in terms of proving the superiority of juicing over fasting. Next point. Raw juices and vegetable broths provide an alkaline surplus, which is extremely important for the proper acid-alkaline balance in the blood and tissues, since blood and tissues contain large amounts of acids during the fast. Okay, so this point you could also equally attribute to just simple eating of raw fruits and vegetables. They also provide an alkaline surplus. And so what would distinguish this point from regular raw food eating? I'm not sure, right? Again, there are many reasons why a juice cleanse is healing and helpful. It's just that this list of justifications as to why it's better than water fasting, there's some issues here, okay? Water fasting and dry fasting, they work for many, many reasons. Now, if it is the case that because of all of the juice that you're drinking, your tissues are more alkaline during a juice cleanse than they would be during, let's say, a water fast or a dry fast, that doesn't necessarily mean that the internal cleansing and repair work is lessened on a water or dry fast, right? That is not necessarily the case. And of course, it couldn't be, because you conserve more energy when you completely abstain from nutrition than when you're not. Next point. Generous amounts of minerals in the juices, particularly the vegetable broth, help to restore the biochemical and mineral balance in the tissues and cells. Mineral imbalance in the tissues is one of the main causes of diminished oxygenation, which leads to disease and premature aging of cells, right? Both water fasting and dry fasting also harmonize and restore mineral balance. Nutrient deficiencies are very often healed and corrected by fasting as well. So where, if there's a difference between the two or whether they're the same, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to say. And the last point says, according to Dr. Ralph Bircher, raw juices contain an as yet unidentified factor which stimulates what he calls the microelectric tension in the body and is responsible for the cell's ability to absorb nutrients from the bloodstream and effectively excrete metabolic wastes. And on that, I guess on that point, I can't comment. I'm not sure. I've not come across that, so I can't say. Okay, so those are some of the reasons he gives for juice cleansing being superior to water fasting. Now, again, just keep your discernment about you. There are many reasons why a juice cleanse is a good tool to use. If I were making up a list of reasons why juice cleansing would be a better choice as opposed to a water fast, I think I would just make up a list of just different points. For example, if someone's in the throes of a very difficult work week or something, or they've got important stuff coming up on the schedule that they need to be active and moving around for, but they've also been suffering from some, I don't know, some ailments or illnesses or some sort of condition that's nagging them, and they want to cleanse right away. They don't have time to wait, but they also can't take a month off life to fast or a week. Then juicing is a very good option because it approximates a fast and you can still be active and moving around. And like the author says, you'll definitely have good elimination on a juice cleanse because you're taking in nourishment, right? Because of all of the nutrients and elements in the juice, and because it's in liquid form, you'll be hydrating very, very well on a juice cleanse, right? Which is another good reason why a juice cleanse is a good idea. I mean, it's definitely extremely healing. You do 2 or 3 days of juicing and you'll notice a difference in the mirror immediately. Your skin immediately improves, right? So there's lots of reasons why juicing is a good idea. So I definitely recommend this book. Pick it up and take a look, and there's a lot of helpful information here. Okay, lastly, there's a section at the end where we go through some protocols, and I'll go through a little bit of them here. Okay, so this section is called How the Fast is Broken. And whether your fast will... juice cleanse. He's talking about juicing. Okay. How the fast is broken, whether your fast will turn out to be a success or a failure will depend largely on how you break your fast. Breaking a fast is I'm just gonna say what he means. Okay, I'm gonna say juicing or juice cleanse or something. Breaking a juice cleanse is the most significant phase of it. The beneficial effect of juice cleansing could be totally undone if the juice cleanse is broken incorrectly. As Dr. Otto H.F. Buchinger says, even a fool can fast, but only a wise man knows how to break the fast properly and to build up properly after the fast. Okay, the main rules for breaking a juice cleanse are: 1, do not overeat. 2, eat slowly and chew your food extremely well. 3, take several days of gradual transition to the normal diet. That is very, very good advice. Okay, I definitely recommend you observe these general protocols when you're breaking a water fast or a dry fast or a juice cleanse. Okay, he goes here, on the first day, eat 1 whole apple in the morning and a very small bowl of raw vegetable salad at lunch, in addition to the usual juice and broth menu. Okay. Readers aside, I should say I am just reading this book right now. I'll add some of my own commentary, but I'm just reading this as he's got it, so I don't necessarily feel that I would go about breaking in the exact same way. I'm just reading for your information, so you know what's in this book. Okay, so that's the first day. On the second day, soaked prunes or figs with the soaking water for breakfast. So soaked prunes or figs with the soaking water for breakfast. And then a small bowl of fresh vegetable salad for lunch. vegetable soup made without salt at dinner, and then 2 apples eaten between meals. All this in addition to the usual juices and broths. Okay. Third day, as second day, but add a glass of yogurt and a few raw nuts for breakfast. Increase the salad portion at lunch and add a boiled or baked potato, a slice of whole grain bread and butter, and a slice of cheese with soup at evening time. So I have to say, readers aside, that third day of juice cleanse breaking is absolutely preposterous. Do not take that advice at all. That's an absolutely ridiculous way to break your juice cleanse. Okay, let's see what happens on the fourth day. On the fourth day, you may start eating normally, adhering to a cleansing macrobiotic diet. Oh dear, a macrobiotic diet. If you fasted longer than 10 days, the break-in period should be extended 1 day for every 4 days of fasting. Okay, that's going to be it for now. Anyway, it is a wonderful book. You should definitely take a look at it. There's some stuff in here that's going to be really helpful for you. But I guess all I'm saying here is you always have to be mindful of keeping your discernment about you when you're reading material in nutrition world. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for tuning in to the FreeMelon Society with me today, guys. God bless, and I will see you on the next one. Okay, ciao.